Yo, what's up, fellas? My name is Patrouski. Welcome back to a not very normal PokeMMO stream recap, okay? This is a Friday stream. I'm not supposed to be live today, but I want a shiny hunt. I have the urge to do it. I have the drive, so why not stream it, was my thought process. I want to start off by fishing over a Whalmer, but I actually want to go make some eggs first to have a few things to hatch while I'm going ahead and doing some fishing. Do you need a charm? I might pop my own charm while honestly I make these eggs. I'm not 100% sure yet. I don't have much scheduled. I just want to shiny hunt, have fun, and play PokeMMO, and it feels good to still have a genuine urge to load up and play the game on a day where I'm not scheduled to stream because I want to. So I'm just trying to enjoy that, trying to appreciate that. And let's go prep some eggs, fellas, and jump into today, and we'll see where the wind takes us, what mess we can get into today in PokeMMO. Thanks for joining. I think I just feel really good post my Heatran. And I'll be so honest and upfront, Heatran for me was not like, wow, I can't wait to like do Heatran and learn the mechanics of the fight. And it's cool, it's neat, it's a cool byproduct, but like, I'm a shiny hunter. For me personally, doing Heatran was much more checking a box off a list, right, and getting it done. And I wanted the accomplishment. But this is a rare thing I did in PokeMMO where I did care more about the reward than the journey. You know, with shiny hunting, I love shiny hunting so much because I love the journey, not the destination, right? To me, the act of shiny hunting is fun. If it was vice versa, that'd be a lot more miserable, a lot less fun. With Heatran, I do think, like, for me, I enjoyed the accomplishment and having the Heatran with my OT. That's a cool thing to have, right? The journey wasn't necessarily my cup of tea. So let's just let's get into my cup of tea. Okay, this is actually so lucky. I was just gonna make eggs. This is best case scenario. It looks like a Quillfish Alpha literally happened today. Oh, that's so lucky. Patrouski Luck says we're due for a Shalfa. I think this is the sign to go for it. I think that's amazing. Okay, I'm gonna buy any cheap Quillfishes I can, but I also want to check water bee. You want to buy female Quillfishes whenever. Yeah, you want to do this when possible. Or I'm sorry. I'm doing no. I'm doing the wrong thing. No. You want both. You want males. One. I'm gonna just buy. I ignore my cash stack, chat. Don't even worry about it. I'm not gonna stress about it. Copium. I'm gonna buy that, and we're gonna go over to female. I'm just buying a few. I'm not counting. I'm not tracking. We'll even out stuff here in a quick sec. With Quillfish Shalfa breeding, you do want to pay for the breed to come out male. It actually saves you money. I'm gonna buy all these for like 15k. Anyone this is gonna cost me a lot of yen. I don't want to see my stack. Don't show it to me. Don't show it to me. I spent like 800. I spent like 800k in less than a minute there. Whew. Okay, that's okay. We're here for the fun. We're here for a good time. Got this Sand Slash. I don't want to take anything. Some of these have good IVs. I don't know if I specifically like tried to breed IVs on things or if I shot lucky rolls. I'm just gonna focus on Quillfishes today. I could do some Voltorbs as well, since they are genderless. You could breed those together. Do any Voltorbs I can match? I'll go check. One more Voltorb. I'm gonna do a lot of box sorting. We'll probably pop a shiny charm and just see what happens. All right, I now have one full box of alphas, essentially one box set up. I have this box of rares. And then this box, I just need dittos for these. So I'm going to go ahead and buy about 55 dittos off the GTL. We're going to do some rare shunting today, boys. It's been too long. Someone said, how many shinies do you have? I honestly don't look over at my box too much nowadays. I have what I consider 50 OTs. But my 50 OT, it's a different definition. One of the more interesting things of shiny hunting in PokeMMO is what is an OT shiny, right? The main question being, do you consider alt account OT shinies, right? Personally, I do. But if someone was like, I don't, I was like, I get that, right? It's not really a right or wrong answer. It's like, it comes down to what your definition is. So if someone asks like how many OT shinies I have, I say, hey, by my definition, I have 50 because I include alt account OT shinies, which I only have a handful of. There's like one that was like for example, a speed run account. Like this account I created to speed run to a shiny Pokemon from scratch. That was its goal. That would be kind of lame if I did all that work and like, had this challenge and I can't even count it towards my OT shinies. That's lame in my opinion. So I like to count it. But I understand if someone wouldn't. And then I also have one catch event one OT shiny, which has Squirtle OT, which is one of the main developers of PokeMMO. So there's stuff like that, right? Where they're not technically my OT, but I would count them as such. On PokeMMO Zone, they aren't tracked as your OT or my OT, right? That's an important distinction. So according to PokeMMO Zone, I probably have like 44 or something OT shot. I have to go check, but by number, it's 50. Some said I only have one shiny from going through the storyline. That's amazing. You should be like super proud of that. That's like really fucking rare and like really impressive. Obviously the amount of encounters everyone gets per storyline is different. But I always say, like, I think we counted a while back on the hyper high end, right? You get like 2,000 encounters per storyline. And that's if you EV train and XP train every Pokemon in a 6-man party with hordes, right? Most players don't do that. Like the average, no one's really doing that, right? I recently did a Unova storyline guide. I ended the entire Unova storyline with like 126 encounters. People often overestimate how many encounters they've gotten if they've like done all the 5 storylines or whatever, because you don't realize how few, because you're doing a lot of battles, gym fights, trainers, etc., etc. It feels like you might have 100 hours in the game but only have like 2,000 or less encounters, which feels weird. But then if you just go do times 5 hordes for like 2 hours, you'll double your encounters. So, you know, times 5 hordes are super important. If you've gotten a shiny in the storyline, that's amazing. You should be proud of that. That's really, really rare. I've never gotten a shiny in the storyline throughout my, you know, many storyline runs and attempts and yada yada yada. You should cherish that. It's a special one to get. Chat, it's time. I get it all the time. I miss the old Patrouski, the speech every time we rare shunt Patrouski, the never give up Patrouski, the dedicate his year to one rare shiny hunt Patrouski, and go for it until he gets it. Today, I'm going to temporarily lock in and bring back that Patrouski. I'm going to make as many eggs as possible. We're going to go fish over at Whalmer. We're going to get a couple rares, a couple chances, a couple opportunities at something amazing. I have over 9,000 hours in this game, and I still, even though I have 2 rares, you know, a Safari Shuckle and a Fossil Rampardos, over 9,000 hours, over 60k or so eggs made in my lifetime, not one egg shiny has ever been seen on my channel. I've never gotten one. It's never happened. I dream of the day where we can see the egg hatch animation play, because if you ever see the egg hatch animation on a Patrouski stream, it means he got something very fucking special. So let's make history, let's get something very fucking special, and let's make some eggs. We're talking about me like not egg hunting and stuff anymore, and it's a weird situation, and I talked about this. Weirdly, this correlates to official shiny war and the shiny boost that we get during Christmas. For those who don't know, we get like a 15% shiny boost during 10 to 20% or so. 15 was last year during Christmas, but they changed it this year because last year I did the wrong, my bad. In 2023, they added a shiny boost during Christmas that just flat boosted. I think it was like all shinies, like plus 20%, and I was not a fan of that. Or it was plus 10, or I think it was plus 10 or whatever 20. I don't like that kind of. I don't like double XP weekends. I don't like stuff like that, booster rates, because hear me, there's a lot of casuals hit like, oh, that sounds, you know, why not? It's more fun. The problem is that it encourages the efficient players to not be able. It disallows efficient players, which I'm not even one of, right? To not play the game the way they like it or the way they enjoy, right? If you want to play the game efficiently, I think you should be able to at all times. But if you have something like a shiny boost for eggs that only happens once a year, your best strategy becomes to use to save all dittos, save all fossils, and save all rare shunts of all kinds only until those shiny boost periods, right? Which is not fun or efficient. You feel discouraged and dismotivated to do any sort of rare shunts outside of those boost periods. Now I voiced my massive concerns and I disagree with this shiny boost when it happened in 2023. In 2024, they fixed it, right? They fixed it and they only made it for wild Pokemon. So it was like singles encounters, hordes, etc. Instead, there was no eggs, no rares, etc. It was beautiful. It was awesome. It was awesome to see this. You couldn't like prep. You couldn't do it for fossils either, right? You couldn't prep for the boost, which that solved all my problems with it. It was a really, really cool change to see from the devs, right? And the problem is, I kind of think official shiny war is creating the same problem that I had with the shiny boost. And I don't really know a way to. The only way to fix it would be to either not allow fossils or eggs in official war, or, which I think is not fun. We shouldn't do that, or just like rebalance them a bit better. I'm not sure of a perfect fix, but I feel like we're going to see people like this official war. Last official shiny war, we had a 2-week heads up, like, hey, shiny war is coming, right? This year, there's been people who have been prepping for the event all year. And I think I have kind of been bitten by the bug as well. Where like, I don't want to egg shunt outside of wars, right? There's 2 Team Mr. wars every year, one in January, one in the summertime, right? And there's also the official war. Why would I ever shiny hunt outside of there's 3 shiny wars. There's so many opportunities to egg hunt. Why would I ever egg hunt? Why would I ever spend all my Pokeyen and fossils, etc., outside of these events? And it's a little sad because I want to be able to play the game that I want to, and obviously I still can physically, right? I'm not trying to like say I have to do it this way, but I do feel bad for those who want to play the game super efficiently, which I don't really care as much about, which is why I'm egging right now. It makes me a little disappointed that there is that mental stranglehold on the shiny hunters and on the players, and that pressure, almost of a FOMO kind of type thing, to not egg outside of wars, which is weird. I don't know the solution. It was something I kind of realized for myself last night while talking to people in Discord about PokeMMO. Is I think I personally, I don't know why I'm going in, there's no reason to do this. I personally have really slowed down my egging and like really stopped egging because I feel subconsciously demotivated, I believe, to egg outside of wars. There just isn't really why spend the Pokeyen when you could just spend the Pokeyen during wars and also win a prize, right? So it's kind of a weird feeling. Yeah, how long can people afford to sit on a full worded account? I think what people do is like, this is what I did like last year for official war. I got 2 alt accounts full up on ditto boxes, right? So like that was like, I think I ended up with like 2,000 dittos prepared, right? And that was with like a few weeks ahead of war. And someone said, I guess you almost feel like you're letting your team down if you don't save up. Yes. It's a really weird situation because it's a team-based activity. You do almost feel like you're letting your team down, as well as it makes you less optimal. Like this is why I don't play on the main team and team. There's a lot of reasons why I actually don't. I'm not on the A shiny hunting team in Team Mr. because I don't want to be, because I don't feel like I'm good enough, and I'll explain why, right? A lot of players look at me like, oh, you have 50 shinies, like, you know, you're a top X shunter and all these, you know, statistics, whatever. I'm a disadvantage for multiple reasons in shiny war. Number one, being a streamer, it does 2 things. It exposes any special secret strategies, which a massive part of shiny wars last year was secret strategies. So it exposes secret strategies if I stream them, which is already a competitive disadvantage. And then number 2, streaming and shiny hunting just burns more energy than if I were to not stream and just shiny hunt, right? Or work like a less bombastic, like loud job, right? As silly as it seems, right? I can vouch for this. When I played RuneScape competitions, right? When I played, and this is the thing with PokeMMO, when I played RuneScape competitions, I wouldn't stream them, and I would play 30 hours straight. And I think the 30 hours straight was the same amount of energy that it takes for me to stream a video game competition for 10 hours. I do think it is. Well, on stream, you're yelling, you're answering questions. You know, that's how it makes sense, right? So it's just a disadvantage. Even though I shiny hunted 10 hours a day for 2 months consistently last shiny war, I don't think that was good enough to be on the main team. And I think it showed that it wasn't. And I think it's a good decision. I like to, you know, I'd rather give them the best chance of winning. It's a very, very hyper competitive thing. Example of a secret strategy. Great question. Last year, this is no longer the case. So this is like no longer a secret, so I can share this. Fossil running. Fossil running last year was discovered, right? Fossil running was when really high-end, hyper-rich, competitive shiny hunters would buy as many fossils as possible, and you would pop 5 fossils, and you would try to get as many like new players as possible, and they would all come and trade you, and you would trade them all the fossil mons if they weren't shiny, so you could just keep popping fossils. Now they ended up changing fossil popping so that nowadays you can just like that you pop fossils now and they just go to your PC. So they like changed this so they don't, you know, there's no more fossil running. But back last year, people started fossil running. It's exactly, if you played RuneScape, it's exactly like essence running. It was really interesting how PokeMMO players like were given a reason to be hyper competitive with an official war, and they went through the same like line of progression and line of efficiency that RuneScape did with essence running, which is super, super interesting. So new players that had access to Oreburgh City were making 1 million Pokeyen an hour during Shiny War last year. Because all they had to do was go trade these hyper-rich veteran players, and they would get free fossil Pokemon to fill up their whole boxes with. It was insane. It was crazy. And the rich players, the competitors, were like, they just wanted to win. Like they were wiping their accounts. I knew people that had billions of Pokemon. There were people in Team Mister that spent, I think, 1 to 2 billion on Shiny War. Like insane amounts of yen, if I'm not mistaken. Ridiculous, crazy stuff. We finished our eggs. Let's head over to Hoenn and go fish over at Whalmer. But yeah, it's official war has not only official war does not only affect the 1 month that it takes place. I think that's the important thing to keep in mind. Crazy money sink, yes, it is. Yeah, it's important to understand. Yeah, official war does not only affect the time it takes place. It affects all shiny hunters that care about war at all year round. And that's a weird, I don't always love that, but it's also kind of beautiful. There's tough things to balance with it. It's just interesting to talk about, honestly. Dude, I was checking the fossil market yesterday, which has changed dramatically. Recorded a video, has changed dramatically over the past year. 2 years. It's actually really fucking interesting. The fossil market, like almost every fossil over the past 2 years, has like times 5 the amount of supply on the GTL. Like there's way more fossils on the market, and yet they've all like 2 times their price. It's over the past 2 years. It's like 2022/2023. It's actually kind of crazy how much the fossil market's changed, and how the increased supply still cannot keep up with like how insanely high the demand is. But one that didn't really show that was Old Ambers. I genuinely, as someone who does this, I genuinely think that sometimes people just forget about Old Ambers because there's not the word fossil in the name. Maybe I'm dumb, but like when I look to buy cheap fossils as an endgame player to like stock up some fossils for future Shiny Wars, I just search the term Foss, and then I just buy the cheapest ones up to like 9K. I almost never look for Old Amber. Almost never. So this was one that like the price didn't go up as much, if that makes sense. I'm gonna buy these for fun. Which is weird. But I thought I don't know if that's the only, there's no way the only reason is laziness from people like me, right? But it kind of might be, which is funny. I spent like 1.6 mil today on shiny hunting, and I've only been live for like 2 hours. Blah, that's painful. Let's go. I did buy some more Quillfish. I have 8 minutes left on my charm. I'm gonna go use my charm while I can and go head back over to Kanto, make a few more Quillfish eggs with the ones that I've hatched, and just get maximum alpha eggs possible. Dude, this is such a nice wild catch. I hope you're just flexing. Oh my god, and it's Rash? Dude, this is crazy. I need some capital. Sky Eats, you can do whatever you want at the end of the day. I would like, he said JK. I would like legitimately like hands on my knees on the floor, like beg you not to sell this. This is your OT Rash. Look at these IVs, 2 times 31, 20 plus in every single stat that it needs to be a special attacker. This is a wild caught competitive. I mean, it's a competitive Simisear, but it's a fucking wild caught rare shiny. A lot of people may not know this, but Pansear is a rare shiny. You cannot hoard for this. Not only can you not hoard for it, you can't commonly find it in the wild. This is wild caught. This is, if you were to actually want this, or go for like specifically, if you want to go for any monkey, I think you do single encounter, but it's like a really long single encounter hunt. But a lot of people, man, you probably have to egg it if you want like a specific monkey. That is a crazy shunt and a crazy IVs and wild catch on a crazy shunt. What would your knee-jerk reaction be if the PokeMMO devs announced shiny rates were being changed from 1 out of 20K tomorrow? I would hope that it would depend. Obviously my knee-jerk reaction is like, okay, wait a minute, let's not do that. But like, if the devs were like, hey, here's all of the like market data of how the economy is actually like, shinies are too rare or whatever, or like here's how many shinies are coming to the game versus coming out, like if they provided a bunch of data points and provided a good argument for why it should be that, then sure. But right now, a lot of new players coming in see the 1 out of 30K rate and are like, oh my god, that's so high, but they just don't know the numbers. They literally don't know like the history, etc., etc. The numbers are, for those who don't know, is that around, the devs said this back in like 2019, So this might have changed a fair bit. It's been a long time. I think it was around the time. The devs once said that 60%, actually might have been 2020. I'm not sure. It was a few years ago, 4 years ago, let's say. At one point, the devs said that 60% of shinies that come into the game are consumed. So 60% of shinies that are caught are traded in for, yeah, this was actually post prismatic pearls. So it was like 2 years ago, maybe. They're either traded in for prismatic pearls, they're either bred and like consumed. 60% of shinies get consumed, not traded, not sold, but consumed, which is a crazy like number. That's like very, very high and very, very good for the market. A really good thing. We've never had numbers on like how many Chinese come in, but it seems to be the devs picked the number for a specific reason, as well as a lot of people don't realize the same time it takes. The easiest method of shunt in PokeMMO times 5 hordes, it takes about 30 hours, okay, on average, which is the same exact on average amount of time it takes to single encounter for a shiny in the original Pokemon games like Pokemon Emerald with the 1 out of 8,192 rate. So the fastest shunt in PokeMMO is the same hours and same grind, different method, as the original Pokemon games. The 1 out of 30k number was not a random dart at a board. It was specifically chosen because of the market and because of the time representation in comparison that I had to original games. The shiny rate in PokeMMO is perfect. A lot of new players come in wanting to change it, and it's a little funny to me. Imagine if I like imagine if I don't know, like started like bike racing. I became like a BMX driver, and I was like, why are the wheels this size? I think we should make the wheels bigger. And everybody's like, why? What are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know. It'd be cooler if the wheels are bigger. And it's like, the wheels have been specifically picked for this size because of fucking terrain and speed. And like, there's a lot of reasons to why this thing is, we have history, right? And it's funny to me when new players go, but it's a good conversation. Not that the person who asked that is doing that at all. There's a good conversation about, we should discuss, should the shiny rate be changed? But there's a lot of really good, you have to provide good argumentation. There has to be a reason to change it. Not like, I think it's too hard. Like, that can't be the logic. It has to be more, right? You have to really advocate for a positive, you can have the position, but I would call it not very well founded. I would hope that the positions we want for the game are for the betterment of the game and not for our own personal play or enjoyment, right? All right, fellas, unfortunately, it's going to be a mega short stream today, just a little extra Friday stream. Only like, it was like 2 hours or so, counting the crash stream. So apologies for being so short, but I had a lot of fun. It was cool to just come on and shiny hunt because I felt like doing it. We made some eggs. We have more eggs to hatch back on Monday. I'll see you guys Monday. If I feel like shiny hunting or shunting and streaming more this weekend, you'll see me maybe this weekend, but I'll probably see you Monday. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later. Have a good one. Like if you enjoyed, dislike if not, subscribe, follow on Twitch. You guys know the drill. Just have a great day. Good luck in your shunts and have fun playing PokeMMO. I'll see you guys later. Peace, Reno. Yo, Patrouski here, and I wanted to thank you personally for watching the video until the very end. I really, really appreciate that. And if your name is on this list, thank you to the moon and back because you allow me to even make these videos by supporting the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.